This is the Pfaff Passport Sewing Machine. Simple to use, but do you really know how much it can do? I've serviced thousands of sewing machines now, and this is one of the best. And in this video over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you all the functions, save you time and help you get the best out of this wonderful machine. Winding the bobbin on the Passport 2, quite easy. Put a thread on, put the cap back on. And there's a number of guides that you must follow. It's a little dotted line. You follow that round. Now this is the bit where I'm going to struggle, is to thread this up on camera. But we'll give it a go. You come from the inside out through one of the little holes in the bobbin. Oh, first time. Excellent. Put that over onto the bobbin winder. Snap that over. You'll notice that the display goes to SP for spool. Start. Now of course I forgot my scissors, so we'll let this one go for today, but you should cut that off. And that's it, it's winding the bobbin. It's as easy as that. You can adjust the speed, we'll talk about the speed dial later, make it slower or faster. And on most machines there's a stopper, so you can't overfill your bobbin. And when you see the bobbin starting to skid or skip, you stop. Cleverly, you'll notice I managed to pick a spool that was running out of thread, so I'm going to change that in a minute for another one. But the bobbin is wound. Snap that back over. You notice the stitch, the little display panel goes back to the stitch you selected, or the stitch that it was when you turned it on. In this case, stitch number 1, straight stitch. Just cut that. That's done. And yes, I will just rethread this quickly. While we're here talking about what's on the top of the machine, we've talked about the bobbin winder. Over here is your hole for your second spool pin if you're using a twin needle. We'll talk about that later. This is your tension settings. Shouldn't really have to touch that too much. Guide for your thread, whether you're winding a bobbin or threading up the machine, and I'll show you in a minute. The first set of tension guides that you go through to wind a bobbin, as you saw just now. Foot pressure adjustment on this machine. Basically, turn it to the plus side to make it heavier, stiffer. Turn it to the minus side, it's on the top there, to make it looser, depending on the thickness of the types of fabrics that you're sewing with. Threading the Passport. He said when he can find the thread. Here we go. So I've changed the thread because we were running out, but it's still red. Red on the top, red on the bottom. To thread the machine, you go through the clip again, and this time you follow the other set of little lines, dotted lines, and you remember dud, which is down, up, down. There's a guide here at the top for your thread, and there's a guide at the top. You can come in on the left or right. I'm going to come in on the right hand side, and then we're into using the needle threader. Now, one of the things that's nice about this machine is there's a button here for needle up, needle down. I'll go for all of these in a second, but if you're not sure if your needle's at the right height for your needle threader, press it once, press it twice, and the needle's now at the optimate height for your needle threader. Your needle threader is here. You bring it down, it clicks into place because the actual hook goes through the eye of the needle. You hook it underneath, you pull it back through, it throws a loop which you catch, and there we go. Your machine is now threaded. I've done a video on how to use a needle thread, and you'll find a link to that in our description, but basically it's a tiny little hook that goes through the eye of your needle. Top of the machine is now threaded. Let's put the bobbin thread in. There's a little click there, you pull that back, that opens out, and you can just remove your cap, bobbin cap cover. And on a machine with a top loading bobbin, which is what this has, you need to hold your bobbin as if it was a letter P. You see the thread is coming down to the left hand side. You just drop that in, and then there's a series of little guides that you follow. You just follow the 3 arrows, and in the end you just cut that off, and you're threaded up. Your thread is in the right place to start sewing. You place the cap, push that down, and you're good to go. On the actual cap cover itself is a little guide, a little illustration of what you need to do to thread up your machine at the bottom, how to put the bobbin in correctly. Pull the thread underneath. Bring the presser foot down, and you're basically ready to go. I'm using the start-stop button today because of where I've got the cameras, but you could have a foot pedal as well. You can use either, you can have them both, you can have the foot pedal plugged in, you can use a combination of the both. That's a really nice touch on this machine. It doesn't go, hang on, you've got the foot pedal plugged in, you need to unplug it if you want to use the start-stop button. You can just use either. Start sewing. Stops with the needle up. If you want the needle to stop down in your sewing from this point on, you press that button again that we pressed before. The needle drops down. I'm going to lift the presser foot. We're going to turn the fabric around just for the demo. I'm going to come back again, so I'm pressing the start button. Don't forget you can slow it down with the speed controller. And now when I press stop, you'll notice that it stops with the needle down in the fabric, which it will continue to do so until you either press that button again or you turn the machine on and off. This button here is your information button. It tells you which foot you should use. On every foot there is a 2-letter stamp, usually a letter and a number, and so that one's telling me that I should use foot 0A, which is the one that's in the machine at the moment. So working on the controls on the front of the machine, you have an up and down for your stitch width. So I'm going to choose the zigzag stitch, which on this machine is 0.3, and I can change the width of the stitch, and you'll notice that now it's gone from 4 to 4.5. This little light's come on, so it's telling me that I'm no longer using the preset setting. And of course you can go up, and when you get above, it's telling me it won't go any higher than 7mm because this has a 7mm space on the foot. And then if I go back down towards, I think it was 3, wasn't it? Oh no, 4. See, it flashes and the light goes off. So that's back to the preset setting. Likewise with the length of the stitch, you notice again it's flashing. I can take it out. 4.5 is its maximum setting. Again, if I come back, where are you? To 1.5. That's what it's telling me. That's what the machine suggests. Talked about the needle up, needle down button. Talked about the information button. And this is your stitch off button. You'll see that this is activated. But now if we sew, when I tap the reverse button, sews in the same place 3 times. Needle's gone up as I would like it to. Pull that to one side. There's a cutter on the side here. And where are we? What's that side, isn't it? You see that tiny little red dot? That's the stitch off that it's done. Changing the stitch is as easy as just typing in a number. If it's below 10, you press 0 first. On the Passport 2, there's 70 stitches. On the Passport 3, there's 99, I think. And you just choose the number that you want. If you're not sure if you're using the right foot, you press that. It tells me I need to use button, sorry. You just press this. This is telling me now that I need to use foot 2A, which I know is the fancy stitch foot. As this is a computerized machine, it comes with a one-step buttonhole. There's 4 buttonholes on the Passport range. I'm just going to show you, it's also going to show you how to change a foot on this machine, but I'm going to set it up to do a one-step buttonhole for you. So first of all, you need to choose the buttonhole foot. In this case, it's 15. I can double check which foot I need to use, but after a while, of course, you get to know that. To change the foot on this machine, disengage the IDT, which you just do by pulling it down and lifting it away. Snap off the foot that you were using. So this is the buttonhole foot. I should have a button in here, but I haven't got one to hand, but let's just pretend that's the size of the button. And the space between these 2 bars is what tells the machine how big the buttonhole stitch needs to be. So just put that onto the machine. To do that, you just lower the presser foot down. There you go, snap. Get used to doing that. I won't drop the thread through. And then bring down the buttonhole lever. That sits between those 2 points I just talked about. Drop your presser foot. Press start. As it's sewn, you can see it's going through the 4 stages of sewing a buttonhole for you. And when it gets to the end, it will stitch in 3 places, let the stitch off, and will stop automatically. There you go, done. Bring the little lever back up, out the way, lift your presser foot, pull that to one side, get rid of those threads, and there you go. Need to neaten up stitches, but there's your buttonhole for you. Change your foot back. When you've finished with it, snap that off as before. Line up your new presser foot. Takes a second, there you go. And this one I can put the thread underneath. And just engage the IDT by pulling it down and just allowing it to come forward. I'll leave a link in the description to my little video on what IDT is and how you use it. But for now, all you need to know is it's a permanent walking foot. And on the Pfaff machine, it's this black thing here. So when you're changing feet, or you're changing to a foot that doesn't use IDT, and there are some, buttonhole foot's a great example, or an invisible zip foot, that's another example. To engage or disengage is quite easy. To disengage, you pull it down and just allow it to come back. And that's off. And to put it back on, you put it down and just push it to the front and it comes back on. You'll notice that the back of the machine is completely flat and the lever to lower and raise the presser foot is actually inside the machine. If you're going to use a twin needle, you do get this, which is a second spool pin. It fits in here, just pushes down, it's got a set little teeth, so it's quite tight, quite secure. And you can just put a second spool of thread, top tip of course, if you're ever using a twin needle and you want to use the same colour stitches, just fill another bobbin, you don't need 2 reels of thread. So as you follow the guide, the one thing you have to try and do, hang on, let me get my thread up, there you go. You'll notice there's this little metal plate, see it moving around. So whereas I think my normal thread has gone over to the right of that plate, just bring your other thread over to the left. So the 2 threads, doing it that way, and then you just thread up as normal the rest of the way. So you have 2 threads following the path, but basically to make sure that they're both tensioned properly and not sliding against each other, you put them either side of the metal plate, because when you close that, so you can see it's loose here, when I put the presser foot down and engage the tension disc, it's gone hard, it's not moving around. So both of those threads are now under tension. You can drop the feed dogs on this machine, great for patchworking and darning. To get access to the lever that does that, you need to come around to the back of the machine, take off the sleeve board and just pull that off. That pops up and just put it back down. And the lever is just here. Feed dogs are now down. And when you're finished, bring that lever back over and the feed dogs will pop back up again. Might take a turn or two to do it because it's a mechanical process, but that's how easy it is to lower and raise your feed dogs. The three main differences between the Passport 2 and the Passport 3 are, well, one, it's white, the other one is black. It has more stitches, 99, and it has thread snips, and you use those by pressing the button here. To demonstrate the snips, just going to do a straight stitch, press start, when I get to stop, press the snip button, lift the presser foot, and it's cut the thread. What it's done actually is pulled the thread, the top thread, down through, and both threads are on the bottom. Great if you actually want to tie them off. Well, I hope you found that really useful. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Drop me a comment. Please like and subscribe. We're going to be doing many more videos about sewing machines, sewing hints and tips. And as ever, happy sewing.